Hey friends, thanks for being here. Today I'm drinking a cup of what is named anxiety, T-E-A, clever. It's got a few different ingredients in it that I will not remember. I know it's got lavender, rose, spearmint, and what are the other ones? Oh, passion flower and vervain. So it's nice and soothing and warming and comforting. Okay, today, in the spirit of the fact that I have started going to the gym, I would like to talk about a little bit of a journey that I'm on back to exercising and moving. I realized recently that I have not really had a relationship with exercise and movement and physicality outside of sport. I started playing netball at the age of about 4 or 5, and I played for a long time, 10 years plus. And I also played a bit of soccer and a bit of field hockey as well through school, which was heaps of fun. By the age of, I think 14 or 15, I had started kickboxing and Muay Thai. And I moved over to doing mixed martial arts in 2009, 2010, I think 2010. And competing as a fighter, whether it's amateur through to professional, the structure that you have around everything that you eat, everything that you drink, the training schedule that you're on, it's all pretty well planned out, of course. I loved fighting, loved it. I loved the training, I loved the people I trained with, I loved my coach, I loved being really thorough about everything that went into my body. I loved the training most of all, and competition was awesome as well. I loved that too. I really, as odd as it might sound, I really liked fighting people in competition, not just like going around fighting people. I don't do that. And my love for martial arts and for the sport has never waned or changed at all, but I found myself going through a pretty hard time a few years ago, about 3 years ago now, and I kind of realized that it was after going through treatment for cancer and all of that sort of thing. I had kind of just powered through it. I spoke to my doctors, of course, about what the plan was, and I just really dedicated myself to it. I was really lucky that I was able to keep training, albeit at a much lower intensity and capacity, but I was still able to train, which was honestly so lucky. I don't even know how I was able to do that, but that really helped, of course, mentally. And by the time I had gotten through it all, it took me about another year to realize, actually maybe even a bit longer, to realize that I needed to talk to someone about what I had gone through. And when I did, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which was not a shock because of the way I had been feeling, but it wasn't something I necessarily expected to deal with in my life, even though lots of people do deal with and live with mental illnesses of varying kinds. And the other thing was, after having been through everything that cancer throws at you, I realized once I had gotten back to professional competition and I had, climbed that mountain that I had set for myself, I realized I was completely miserable. I haven't really told many people this, but I was crying every single day before I went to training, every day. And I would push and push and push it till the last minute that I had to leave to walk onto the mat on time. I was miserable, and it wasn't because I didn't like training, and it wasn't because I didn't want to be there, but there was something wrong and I didn't know what it was and I needed to figure it out. So when I went to someone there and kind of said, I need to talk to someone, I need to talk to a professional, I need some help, and they weren't able to help me. And I don't blame them. because there is such a lack of knowledge and confidence in terms of helping someone with something like that when they reach out to you in our society. There's still so much stigma attached to mental illness and mental health issues. So as hard as it was, I don't blame anyone for not being able to help me, but it meant that I felt really alone. In addition to that, I was also having a bit of an issue with a person at the gym, and I didn't feel very safe being there. I came up alone in that as well when I reached out for some help to try and find a solution. And thirdly, most importantly, after everything that I had been through, my priorities had changed a lot. So as much as I love fighting, I was done with missing out on all of the other things that happen in life. I didn't want to miss people's birthdays anymore. I didn't want to miss out on seeing my friends' bands play. I wanted to write music myself, and I knew that if I kept fighting and, adhering to the grueling schedule that you have to do, I knew that I would continue to miss out on those things, and the balance had shifted for me in terms of where the priority was. That had changed, and I think that also contributed to me not being happy. So when I stopped training and stopped fighting, I didn't really know where to go. I didn't feel comfortable at the gym that I was at anymore, and because I had such a loyalty to my coach and to my team, this is a place that you spend so many hours and people you spend so many hours with, and not just in each other's space and proximity, but doing really hard work together. Not just hard work physically, but it's mentally hard work as well. It's a tough sport. Any sport at an elite level, of course, is really difficult. And so, of course, the people you do it with become like a second family to you. So I didn't feel comfortable going to another team or going to another gym because that would have felt disloyal. So I didn't know what to do with myself, and I just stopped training. I wish I hadn't, of course, but that's what happened, and I ended up finding other things that fulfilled me. But something that I have been noticing since probably maybe around the end of 2019 is that I've been needing to reconnect with my body. After Brian died, I felt truly, completely, utterly lost for the first time ever in my life, which I know that I'm very lucky to have only felt that for the first time. I'm someone who was really lucky to have always been really sure of my identity and really sure of the things that I want in life. Even when those things might change, I usually feel quite sure about the change and shifts in priorities and that sort of thing. And I've always been someone who felt complete, felt whole, and I never understood the term other half when talking about a partner. But then I met Brian, and all of that sort of thing made perfect sense because, here I was, this whole person who didn't feel like anything was missing and didn't feel like I needed another person. I wasn't looking for another person. And then all of a sudden, I met this person and felt like I had gone home for the first time, like really gone home. And so losing him and losing that feeling is like going down a set of whitewater rapids on a boogie board with no oar or anything like that. I mean, I'm still grieving and I'm still trying to figure out what my life looks like and is going to look like. But one thing that I know for sure and started realizing towards the end of that year was that I needed to make that connection back into myself and find a home within myself. Coincidentally, a friend of mine, I'd had a few friends recommending Yoga with Adriene to me, and I hadn't really bitten the bullet and dived in to Adriene's YouTube channel or, lessons. And I had done a few of like pre-bed 10 or 15 minute yoga, like warm down to bedtime type sessions, and those were really nice, but I hadn't committed, I suppose. And one particular friend reached out to me and said that she was doing a 30-day yoga journey via Yoga with Adriene, and it was called Home. And this was in about the middle of 2020, I think, of 2020, at a time when most people who were able to, who were lucky enough to, were working from home. And I went into it assuming that it was called Home because of the timely situation. I didn't realize until something that she said in however many sessions into it was, that it was about finding that home within yourself. And I was like, God, this is perfect, because that is what I felt like I was doing by re-embracing movement, and albeit a different kind of movement. I had done maybe 2 yoga classes in the past and I didn't enjoy it just because of where I was at. And of course, you know, it always helps to click with the teacher. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it, but I loved doing these online sessions with Adriene, and I did feel that reconnection happening within myself. And side note, the number of times I fucking cried at the end of a session, and you know, that's just because there's still a lot going on within me, and yeah, I know that lots of people have things going on, so maybe that has happened to other people as well, I'm not sure. But I started finding that connection to myself again. So what I really wanted to share today, while we share a cup of tea or other beverage, is a reminder in case you need it, or maybe this is a thought that's being shared with you for the first time. It's been said many times before that everything you need is in you already. And I've always thought that that was true. You know, all of the qualities that we need, all of the gifts that we need to nurture and share, they're all within us already. We just need to develop them and nurture them, and then, you know, go forth with them and share them. So whether it is through movement of any kind, whether it is through meditation, whether it is through crossword puzzles, sailing, or woodworking, or anything else that tickles your fancy, and finding a home within yourself is what it's about, right? Finding that place of solace, finding what it is within you that keeps you going, that drives you, that piece of you that you can come back to anytime you need it, that's in here. And there's nothing like that feeling of being held by your person, or, you know, even just if they squeeze your hand just the right way. Like Brian always had this way of squeezing my hand way too fucking hard, but I loved it. Sometimes I would just let him, and he didn't know that he was squeezing too hard. He was just squeezing hard because he liked squeezing my hand really hard. It felt, you know, nice to him, and it felt nice to me too. And I would, instead of saying like, "Ow, that's too hard," I remember noticing there are times when I would actually like dip my shoulder into the squeeze rather than have him stop squeezing. So anyway, I know that there is no feeling to replace that home that you can find in another person, if you're lucky to find it. And it's okay if you haven't. It's okay if you don't want to. But I know from my experience that there's nothing that melts away tension or heartache or sadness or a tough day like, you know, being held by a person, or even just having their hand on your back or something like that. But now that I am nurturing the home that I have in here, the feeling of being lost is starting to dissipate. And, you know, there are still huge question marks about my life, but that needs to be okay for now. For now, I am just reconnecting with my body, who really likes to move, and it feels good and it feels right, and I'm coming home to myself. I hope that you can too, if you need to. I think that's all I have to say today. I hope it helps. I hope it resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's fine too. If you think that I am talking a bunch of nonsense, that is completely fine. As always, please feel free to share this with someone who you think might benefit from it. And don't forget to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be courageous, be awesome, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers!